Yes. Yes.
But like the comparison, like with me and some of the other guys.
So that'd be something neat to see, the Harris Centers.
The Pirates playing in Williams.
All right, welcome back to the second period. Now, this period is specialty games, where games that you normally don't see in a normal stadium, or in some cases, a major league stadium. So we have three listed that, three categories here that we have for this. One is very recent, the Field of Dreams game. So what are you guys' thoughts on that?
The ballpark looked fantastic.
I do like how they had it like right next to where the film took place. That I thought was good, and also to have Kevin Costner involved.
To me, it took you back to that, almost like you're growing up as a kid. You played on a field, not necessarily a cornfield, but you played on a field that was similar to where there was nothing in the outfield. There was nothing there. All you had was a couple bleachers with a few people watching. It took back to where the game started.
I like that.
And what's funny is when I played Little League, the practice field that we did on, right next to it was a cornfield. That was interesting, because when it's like, oh great, I gotta go through this, look for the ball.
So what's funny about that, because our towns were rivals for All Stars. Where I played Little League was in a coal mountain, because Williamstown, Pennsylvania, and Tower City, Pennsylvania, where we're from, it's part of Pennsylvania's coal region. So the field was actually like right at like where it was in, you could see the mountain behind it, and you could walk up the hills to the coal mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Oh yeah, definitely one big coal region. That's for sure.
I think that they killed it on the uniforms. The uniforms were,
taking it back. Taking it back.
Perfect for that.
They were as close to period perfect as possible. Had the Nike logo not been on there, they would have been as close to period perfect as possible as they could be without being wool.
Right. I do like how, though, they had Kevin Costner basically lead them out through the cornfield. That was like how he entered the field. I mean, of course, you got to have him there, being he was the main one in the movie to begin with.
I don't think they should do that anymore, though.
No, I mean, I say the first one, okay, yes, have it there. Yes, boom. But everything else,
if you want to still have the players come through the corn, that is cool. You don't need Kevin Costner leading them out every time.
No, I think the first time, yes, just because he was part of the movie, this is what he basically helped inspire. But I do like how then the players came out right behind him.
Next year it's going to be Ray Liotta. Sorry. As a Unowatch nerd, it was really cool seeing a lot of guys wearing old school stirrups, because that is a part of the uniform that is like missing nowadays.
You don't see that.
That very rarely you'll see a couple guys in the minors. Like there's a guy, his name's Gabe Globersol. He played for the Senators earlier this year. He was the closer, I think I was telling you guys about at the game.
Yes.
But the closer, he's now up with the Nats. He still rocks them.
Nice.
It's one of those things. It's like that's just perfect for they were perfect for that game.
Yes, they were.
Like the presentation, even as much as I'm not a huge fan of Joe Buck throwback, like dressing up for the time period was awesome. And the way the game went, of course, the Yankees losing helped. But
right? Yes, I agree.
to end on a walk-off into the cornfield, like, you cannot script it any better than that.
Agreed.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, that Field of Dreams game was definitely something. Now, I do hope they keep that going.
They are next year. It's the Cubs and the Guardians.
No, the Reds.
Jeez.
Those are the Reds.
It's the Reds, yeah.
I knew it was the Cubs. I had that.
With their generic clip art / minor league logo.
That was a discussion. That was a discussion on a previous show.
I
Yeah,
like the name. I hate the logo.
I think the Field of Dreams games definitely, hopefully, brings more fans into the game.
Well, you know what would help if our local Fox station would actually air the game and not preseason football.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I don't know why. I mean, a preseason game, a game that does not count at all, worth anything,
Doesn't matter.
over a game that does count, for starters, and two, a game you normally don't see. Because how many times a year do you see a Field of Dreams game?
The Field of Dreams game, I put it up there as, like, in a sense, like an all-star game. An all-star game happens once a year. It's kind of right there with that.
For me, I would compare it to like the Winter Classic in hockey.
Oh,
It's a specialty game that holds a lot of meaning for the teams and the fans in attendance.
oh, and that's where I'm not the biggest hockey advocate or the biggest hockey fan, but no one gives the NHL and hockey the credit they deserve for when they started the Outdoor Classic. Because the Outdoor Classic to diehard hockey fans is every bit of what the Field of Dreams game is to baseball fans now. But if you look at it at a perspective, people act like the stadium or the Classic didn't exist before this Field of Dreams game. You understand what I'm saying? The NHL is not given their due on things that they have tried to do different things throughout the years that the other three major sports markets have picked up and ran with it. And just because they have a larger viewership,
Right.
It's like they came up with it.
And I know I think the first Winter Classic was 2008.
Well, let's rewind that back a little bit because we watched the Heritage Classic back in, 2003?
I think, it was Montreal, and I think it was Edmonton in that game for that one. And, well, even the Winter Classic, the first one back in 2008, you couldn't have asked for a better setting. And I actually watched a documentary on it, and they said they didn't know if people were going to attend. They didn't know if this was going to take off. And when they sold out tickets, they knew they had something. And the fact that it snowed, I was actually at the Outdoor Classic game, or the Winter Classic game, when it was at Citizen Bank Park. I was at that game, and just being in that atmosphere was amazing. Just being there, just soaking it in.
And that's what a specialty game should be like.
And I can only imagine for the players for the Field of Dreams game, soaking that in of what they're doing, where they're playing, and just the type of atmosphere. Same thing, like you said, with the outdoor games. That's something that now the NHL has expanded into the stadium series games, but still, they play in all sorts of places. Like Lake Tahoe, I think, was last year's stadium series. And it's just the fact of all this, Field of Dreams and that is just kind of almost the same thing. Because it's the atmosphere, it's everything to go with it.
The jerseys, the look, everything. And now we got another one coming up. We got the Little League one that's played in Williamsport at historic Bowman Field. We got to call it what it is.
What is that, Sunday?
I believe it is, yeah, because they just started in Williamsport, I think today or yesterday.
Yeah,
Yesterday it was that they start the games in Williamsport.
it's Ohtani and the Angels, and who's the second team?
Cleveland.
Is it Cleveland?
I think it's Cleveland. So here's. Go ahead.
Speaking of the Little League World Series, the kids from North Dakota pitched a combined no-hitter today.
Oh, cool. Very
there you go.
Very cool.
So here's my bone to pick with the Little League One. I think it should stay a Pennsylvania team every year because it's in Pennsylvania. I think it should either be the Phils or the Pirates. I felt bad that last year it was going to be the O's, and thank God for COVID, no kids got to watch the O's play baseball. They dodged a bullet on that one.
You don't love the O's? Who knew?
I like the O's history. I hate what what their ownership is doing to the franchise and the fan base.
You love the history, hate the management.
Yeah. But that said, I think it should be a Pennsylvania team representing every year because it's played in a Pennsylvania stadium. Concessions to Baltimore and Washington notwithstanding, I think they would be okay. But I think once we leave that little area, I don't know. That's just my bone to pick.
I think the only argument that I'll have with that is the Little League World Series is a nationwide, worldwide series.
And you're right.
So honestly, I don't want to see the Pirates play every year. I don't want to see the Phillies play every year.
I made concessions to Baltimore and Washington.
But right now you're talking about, don't get me wrong, I love my Nats, but you're talking about two teams that are going the other way.
And the Pirates are another team where their ownership just is destroying that fan base.
Terrible. They are terrible. And should own that team by now.
And the Pirates and O's fan base deserve better than what they're getting.
Oh, they do. Because, I mean, as much as I like to talk trash about Philly fans, Pittsburgh fans, there's still people going to Pirates games.
Not a lot.
But the people that are there love the Pirates. And when they're good, they will sell that place out.
Yeah.
So
and it's a shame they didn't do much more when they had McCutchen because they had him in his prime.
Yeah.
Now, just to your habit with local teams, like John was saying, it's like, do you really want to see that, like the Phillies or the Pirates every single year?
Well, the Phillies are always contenders. So,
but to have different teams.
No, and I understand his point, and his argument is very good and very sound.
I would rather have different teams in there every year just because it's different.
Let's throw this out there. So the Little League World Series is worldwide. Why don't we get a Japanese team and an American team to play against each other?
We had that in the Olympics.
I know. Why not get like the ham fighters taking on the Indians?
Well, this year there's no international teams in the Little League World Series.
Right, because of the Rona.
Yeah.
Now, I will say I saw the jerseys for this Little League Classic, and they look fantastic.
I've actually not seen the jerseys yet. I'll have to look into that.
They are just like the kids' jerseys, actually.
Really?
And instead of the Angels and the Indians, I think the Angels are going to be the West. And are the Indians going to be the East, or there's the Midwest?
West and the Great Lakes.
There you go.
That is cool. That Great Lakes.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
And they look just exactly like, with MLB team colors, they look just like the ones the kids are wearing, design-wise.
Look at this. You can get a Shane Bieber Great Lakes Little League Classic jersey right now on Fanatics for $475.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
Ridiculous.
And they're going to be trying to sell the crap out of all that.
I'll be hitting up China tomorrow. So what I was going to get back to there, we was talking about region based and kicking back to the Field of Dreams a little bit, because there's a discussion about who should play in the Field of Dreams. To me, the White Sox and the Yankees for the first game was perfect. But I do kind of agree that it should be more of a region-based teams there, just because I don't know. That I see as more regional than the Little League World Series or the Little League Classic, just because the Little League Classic is teams coming from all across the nation, and hopefully next year from all across the world. Yeah. That's why I view it that way. With the Field of Dreams, I kind of agree with some of the critics that say it should be more local to them. Like, if you wanted to to me, let the Cubs and the White Sox play in a couple of years. Let the Brewers get out there. Next year we're getting the Cubs and the Reds. Teams like that should kind of stick to that Field of Dreams. The only thing I worry about with Field of Dreams is the ratings were so good that they're going to change what it was.
Just to get that rating to where it was or go higher. And you can't do that because it's the first one. Everybody wants to see it. Everybody saw it. And they think they can up that show.
Right.
And it's not going to happen.
So here's a thought. Here's a thought. Because the Field of Dreams game definitely has the old-time baseball connotation to it. And I understand your regional argument, and it's a very good argument. What if you make it just for teams who were around during the time frame that would take place? Sorry for hitting my microphone, anyone listening. But you have a lot of teams that are historic, like the Cubs, like the Yankees, the White Sox. I'm going to throw the Phils in there. The Phils were 1883, the Red Sox, the Dodgers back when they were the Brooklyn Dodgers. There's a lot of teams that were around even before the early 20th century in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, where they have rich histories, rich uniform histories that you can dive into. Nike's going to love it because they can sell jerseys to fans, and Fox is going to love it, and everyone will be happy.
I can agree with that. Like, those teams, I don't want to see the Washington Nationals play in the Field of Dreams just because it doesn't fit it. They don't fit that. I guess you would call it criteria. They just don't fit when I think of Field of Dreams. The Marlins. I don't want to see the Marlins play at the Field of Dreams.
And a faux back.
Yeah. As much as I love the throwback Marlins uniforms, they don't fit the time period that the Field of Dreams is kind of built around.
Now here's going back to the Nats. And I will say I'm not a Nats fan, and we've had this discussion. I love their Washington Senators style hat with the Capitol background. The Senators were around from 1901 to 1961. So it's not like you couldn't do the Nats there wearing a Senators jersey.
Here's my one to that. When you think of Washington Nationals and you think of their history, what is the first thing you think of?
The Expos.
And the Expos.
Why not have instead of the Nationals throw it back with the Expo jerseys?
Well, they've done that, but my thought is if you're going to, but the Expos run around in the 40s and 30s. But my thought is because it is a historic based game, you could do the Nets, and they're embracing the Senators' history finally, which I think is really cool. Like I said, I love that hat they've been wearing this year, the Senator style hat. They could do it. I mean, the option is there if they get selected, and I'd rather that than a faux back.
Right.
What we need to see for that type of game is a rivalry, like a big baseball rivalry. Yankees,
Red Sox and the Yankees.
Reds. Yep, exactly. Wouldn't that be something, to see that type of atmosphere?
If I want rivalries when it comes to baseball, I either want the Red Sox and the Yankees, or I want the Giants and the Dodgers.
Put some type of rivalry for that game.
And you could do the Giants and Dodgers there, and period perfect uniforms. Yeah.
And the same thing with the Sox and the Yankees.
Yep.
Same thing with the Red Sox and Yankees. You could do that. Just like how, I forget what year it was, the Stadium Series in Philly. They did the Penguins and Flyers. I mean, I don't know how many times we talked about hopefully they put a Winter Classic up at Beaver Stadium in State College. Because that
would be.
And have it a mid-state rival.
I honestly think the only thing stopping it is it's a 2-lane road to get in and out.
Yeah, that road up there is ridiculous to get in and out of anything. I mean, I go up there for where I work. I go up there occasionally, and just the amount of traffic in there that's not a sporting event is ridiculous. But that would be a good place to hold a Winter Classic. But I doubt that'll ever happen.
It's historic. I mean, Beaver Stadium's one of those. It's a historic spot. It's kind of like if you wanted to go to the Big House. Go to the Big House and play a Winter Classic or an Outdoor Classic. That
they did.
Did they do the Big House?
I think it was Toronto and Detroit. Let me look that up here. Winter Classic. Was it Ann Arbor?
Yeah.
Yes.
Michigan? Yes, 2014. 2014, and it was, just to verify, make sure I was right. Yes, it was the Leafs and the Wings. The Leafs won in a shootout, 3-2.
That's a heck of a way to end the game, too.
Well, that ended in 2008 in a shootout. But just having it at the Big House like that.
I bet that was awesome.
Well, that was set up for a lot of memes, too. It said the best way to use a football stadium to have a hockey game. Well, when went to the last Philly games I went to, the last time I was at that stadium at Citizen Bank Park was for a hockey game. So, but yeah, I mean, just having a game at the Big House like that, yeah, being there was probably, I mean, 105,491 fans. That's the record from my understanding at a Winter Classic.
A lot of people.
And but like you said earlier, they don't get a lot of credit for stuff like that.
No, they don't get their due when it comes to the idea that they put out there that, like you said, they thought may not even work. And
now look at it.
Now it's huge, but still it plays second fiddle. It'll play second fiddle now to the Field of Dreams.
Oh, it's funny is though they actually had an outdoor hockey game at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, it was the Kings and the Ducks.
Huh.
So they had the Winter Classic. I forget the year it was at the Cotton Bowl. So you can have a Winter Classic almost anywhere at this point.
I know they had issues with the ice at Lake Tahoe, didn't they?
Yes, they did. The sun played a huge part in that, so they had to postpone the game to later that evening.
Right.
But when you can pick places like that and have it work,
right?
Field of Dreams, you can really only have it in certain area, in one area.
Field of Dreams is one field. That's it.
Yeah, it's not going to be like, oh, this year we're going to have it in New York.
Well, and that's like, it's kind of off the topic. The Pro Bowl in football, the Pro Bowl back in the day, it really, to me, it was more fun to watch when they actually had it in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Now they just they bounce around a little bit, but it just seems like they don't really care. So why am I going to care to waste my time to watch
It's the only All-Star game no one cares about.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, hockey, now that I should say, now the hockey one is you have 4 teams and you play for $1 million split. And I think the NFL start doing that now too, where they play for, I guess, some type of winnings.
That's another thing that hockey brought in that they don't get credit for is they started the fantasy draft when it came to the All-Star games. Well, the fantasy draft, hockey started that. Well, then the NBA picked up on that. And now the NBA is no longer the East versus the West. It's Team KD versus Team LeBron or whoever the top guys are at that time. But that's another thing that hockey ran with and tried. It worked. And everybody else wanted to take it and make it their own.
Now, Jason, I know we're going to beat this horse to death like we've had done in the past. And me saying this, you probably know where I'm going with this.
The bubble works.
But didn't the NHL start the bubble?
Start the what?
Start the bubble concept? So I think they did.
Yes. It was. They pulled it off first, and then the timing wise was very close for both them and the NBA, and they both teams did it fantastically.
I think hockey done it better because hockey was a little bit more – they were strict to their bubble, and they stuck to their guns with what they had from the get-go. The NBA, there was a little bit more flexibility with it.
Well, when I say they did it well, there weren't any issues during that other than the NBA, the one dude for the NBA starting his own coffee shop in his hotel room.
Well, I think a couple of people were snuck into, a couple of specialty people were snuck into the bubble in the NHL in Edmonton. That, not a good thing. But you hear about that now, but.
And unfortunately, history dictates that the innovators tend to not get remembered as being the ones who popularized the idea. So unfortunately for hockey's sake, they're the innovators of a lot of these ideas, but the more popular leagues tend to be the ones that get the recognition. Now, I think because ESPN is going back home to ABC and ESPN, and they're going to be on TNT, it's going to open them up to a whole new audience that they didn't have on NBC Sports.
Yeah. So now with going back to the Little League Classic, I do agree with not having outside fans in, just the ball players there. And I know I've heard a lot of people complain like they want to watch the game, they want to get tickets, they want all that. I feel it should stay with the Little League ball players.
It goes back to the same thing with if you want to spend $1,500 to $1,800, whatever. I know I've seen $1,500 for a Field of Dreams ticket. That's cool. Go ahead, do that. But there's still only going to be so many people there.
Right.
I agree 100% though. The Little League Classic, as much as I would love to be able to go to it, I would rather it stay exclusive to those kids, the players, their family, because that's what it's about.
Yeah,
if you want to watch
the Little Leaguers.
It's about the kids. It ain't about you. Save your money. Watch it at home.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like people always complain like, oh, I want to go watch the game, but yet, like you just said, it's about the player. It's about the kids. And it's always been about the kids. That's how it should be, about the kids. That the parents can stay in their hotel rooms, leave the parents out of it. Because, you have those parents who try to coach their kids from the stand and yelling and screaming. And there's really no room for that.
Nope. Yeah, if it was up to me, it would literally just be the kids in the stands and the players hanging out and like that. That's really it. The parents, they kind of just have to be there because you can't leave your kids unsupervised.
Yeah.
Right.
They left us unsupervised. And look where we're at now. Anyways. But yeah, no, I just love how they've opened up a lot of the specialty games now, like Field of Dreams, the Little League Classic, the hockey outdoor games. really opened up a lot more to what they can have. A lot of different directions. So that's always a good thing. It's always a good thing. So on that note, that'd be the end of the second period. Be right back after a short break.